Hello everyone, I'm Malini Rustogi and I am a holistic life coach. I started my journey 20 years back being a Reiki healer, and with time a lot of feathers accumulated in my cap, such as tarot divination, numerology, dowsing, theta healing, access conscious bars are to name a few. And when we come to today's topic, that is bringing up kids as they are or as we are, whether deliberate or by circumstance, whether planned or unplanned, becoming a parent is a defining moment in our lives. The acute joy experienced that marks the birth of one's child is beyond imagination. It is a feeling that exposes us to be the wonder of Mother Nature and life itself. And our children are the most precious gifts to us, more than anything else in this world. Everything about parenthood is rewarding. I would like to quote some lines from the famed poet on children by writer Khalil Gibran. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of lives longing for itself. They come through you but not from you, and though they are with you, yet they do not belong to you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies but not their souls, for the souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes backward nor tarries with yesterday. The message on children from the Prophet by Khalil Gibran focuses on the idea that children are their own people. The implications of this idea advises us against the indoctrinating children to shaping the child to be like the parent. Raising a child is the hardest and the most responsible and satisfying task a human being can face. It is also a job for which people receive the least formal training. Each person's knowledge of how to bring up a child usually comes from their surroundings and from their upbringing. This may result in patterns from parents' own social experiences being repeated and passed on to their children. Is parenting all about being judgmental? We know we should do something different for our child, but we refrain from doing so just because what others would feel about it. And who all are these others? These others are the society, the relatives, the colleagues, the friends, and so on and so forth. Rather than looking at it at what we are refusing to our kids, always look the other way around, which should not be there. How is it going to affect them? We need to recognize, and also that how can we contribute to our kids? The next question arises: do we really let our kids to choose? Do we really teach them that it is all right to make a choice and re-choose if required? Why do we judge them as per our own experiences? Do we need to raise kids who mimic their own parents, or do we need to raise individuals who are free souls with their own identity? Should we not let them experience life and learn and unlearn their own truths rather than imposing them with our own process of thoughts? It is more about our willingness to allow them to be more aware, empowered, and independent to make their own choices. Ample space should be given to them to fall and rise themselves, to make mistakes and learn from them, to grow as they are and not as we want them to be. To tell them it is all right to question and to make this happen, let's first break the cage of do's and don'ts, from where we are operating and maybe our parents also operated. As denizens of modern age, we have become a huge projection of the society and wish the same for our children. Children are encouraged to be intelligent, strong, smart, fast, competitive, and aggressive, and also daring at times, but they are what we are wanting them to become, maybe an extension of our minds, dressed in our own misplaced ego. The way children are encouraged to learn today is by teaching them through waist up and move towards left side, which is the center of logical and reasoning. Subjects and skills known for enhancing mental and academic capability are encouraged, such as maths and learning languages, for example. Children are generally kept away from subjects like arts and humanities, as these subjects will not get them a good job or a high paying job. This is the reason for this approach. The system has come into place to meet the needs of industrialism. The way children are treated and taught is similar to the way human race strip mines the earth for a commodity. However, if we closely see the issues we are facing in today's age, increasing rates of crime, depression, suicides, failing relationships, broken families, we feel the urgent need to change the current mindset. A Midas touch is needed for to bring required transformation, a paradigm where heart is much valued as well as the mind. The Midas touch is the human touch, and this human touch is only done through parenting, through loving your own child. A child, first and foremost, needs to be loved. As a parent, it is our duty to be the pillar of support for our children, and they need to become the successfully capable individual for the future. I believe this is the single most important responsibility we have as parents. I would like to share a very small, short story. Thomas Alva Edison shared an important event in his life in an interview. One day, Thomas Edison came back home from his school and gave a paper to his mother. He told her, "My teacher gave this paper to me and told me only to give it to my mother." His mother's eyes were tearful as she read the letter aloud to the child. "Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him. Doesn't have enough good teachers to train him. Please teach him yourself." After many years, after Edison's mother died, he was now one of the greatest inventors of the century. One day he was looking through old family things. Suddenly he saw a folded paper in a corner of a drawer in a desk. He took it and opened it up. On the paper it was written, "Your son is adult. We can't let him to come to school anymore." Edison cried for hours, and then he wrote in his diary, "Thomas Alva Edison was an adult child that, by a hero mother, became the genius of the century." This story by a world-renowned scientist is a living proof of how the care, support, and guidance and the act of believing in one's child, a parent, can lead to unimaginable progress in the real sense for a child, and in turn contribute society and nation in the truest sense of word. I would like to again quote a poem on children by Khalil Gibran. "You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might. He that his arrows may go swift and far, let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. And for even as he loves the arrows that flies, he also loves the bow that is stable." Thank you so much.
Questions? Questions?
You have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm kind of on
discussion really. So I know that you said, and I do agree. I'm a mother myself, and I do agree that we should bring up children as they are. We should wear their guidance, wear their guardians, we're their guardians, right? So it's not about who we are, but it's more about who they are. So it's a responsibility given onto us. What I want to ask is, because of these different types of issues that we encounter in today's world, things that are so alien from our belief systems, that you challenge, you struggle with bringing up your children or giving them a guidance of what to believe, what to know, what to believe. Take for instance, let me just be the issue of the discussion that's raging now in the UK about the government saying that they are going to start to they're going to introduce a new law whereby children from as young as 4 years of age are going to be taught about inclusive relationships, same-sex relationships. It's permitted, it's allowed, and all of that. And say in your own home, your religion or your faith doesn't allow that, doesn't believe that. So it almost seems like you're teaching your children a different set of values, and the environment, the society, the public is teaching them a different sort of values. And I know that we've said we should just give them that guidance, give them the parameters within which to operate, and leave them to their own. Would you still say in such an instance that you would leave them to their own devices, to learn in their own way? Or is this something that how would you handle such a thing? I mean, in guiding your children?
This is one issue which is prevalent everywhere, right? And I won't even call it an issue, because when it comes to same-sex relationships, it is something very natural, right? The God has made them that way. The same God which has made us. It is a different set of choices that we have. Being a lady, I choose a man. And there can be a fellow lady who chooses another lady to love, who is inclined towards her. So it is not that she is doing by force. Somebody is forcing her, or she has been taught that way. This is something which is natural, which is coming to her naturally. This is what her heart desires, right? So what we need to teach our children here is to respect, first of all, whether the person is making a choice for the opposite sex or for the same sex. We should respect that person's choice, first of all. And we should not discriminate our love.
Oh yes, I agree with that. Actually, where I was going is, I don't have a problem with same-sex relationships being carried on or loving each other. But when you have to bring it into the public purview and force it on everyone, so for instance, all we are asking in the UK is, if you want your child to attend these classes, where from age 4, before they are out of diapers, before they even have their thoughts properly formed, you want to start teaching them something that we don't believe in at home. So when we go to church, they are taught a different thing. When I speak to my children, I teach them a different thing. And when they go to class, they come back and tell me, but Mrs. So-and-so and said this is that. What I'm saying is, it's okay for you to love who you want to love. I won't come into your space. I won't hate you, right? Even if I don't like your practice, I won't hate you as a person, because there's God inside of you. So hating is not something that I will do. But I believe that there is a line that should be drawn. They should not force every parent to force their children to go into these classes where the children are being taught that it's okay for you to, for Steve and Adam to have a relationship. Because whether you like it or not, I'm not going to buy into that in my own home. I'm going to still teach them according to what I believe, according to my faith. So then the child is torn. That's what I'm saying. The child is torn. Because, Mommy, why are you telling me this? And this is what the school is telling me. So that's where parents are saying, listen, we're not coming into your home. We're not saying don't do it. But just don't teach my child from age 4. At least let them grow up to the extent where they can decide as teenagers or at age 18 or whatever, this is what I want to do. Because then their belief system has been formed.
I would agree to that. That age 4 is too tender an age to kind of use the medium of school, because
the medium of school.
School and peer is a very strong.
And taxpayers' money. And taxpayers' money to institute this. So this is an ongoing debate.
So it has been introduced as a mandatory part of the curriculum in
yes.
UK.
Yes, that's what we're still fighting it. There are people writing petitions, and it's being spoken about in the UK media. Parents are rising up against it and saying.
I think what they should teach instead is that you should not be judgmental.
Yes,
be
absolutely.
open, be inclusive, make your choices, and respect others' choices. That's it.
Absolutely.
See, when it comes to religions, be it your religion or my religion is a bit too rigid on these things. So a religion would never ever tell you to accept that fact, right? But I would also like to add here is that is not wrong. That is also which is coming naturally to them. If they are making a choice of similar sex, that is out of their own heart's desire.
No, you're still going back to that. I have no problem with them making.
I'm not saying you are.
I have no problem with them getting married.
No.
Nothing. But taxpayers' money should not be used.
I do understand that. That's the reason I'm saying that age 4 is way too tender to teach them. But whether we teach them at age 4 or we teach them at age 10 or 15, when they grow up, they'll have their own set of choices. So rather than teaching them that what I teach or what religion is teaching is right and what teacher is teaching is wrong, we can tell them that both are right. It is absolutely your choice how you want to take it.
I don't believe both are right.
I
don't believe both
that's
are right.
That's again our own choices.
But I make it clear to my children, you will not for any reason go around hating anybody.
Exactly.
You're not even allowed to say, if they're talking about it in the playground, you're not even allowed to say, ew. I tell my boys that that's your opinion that you express in your home. You're not allowed to say that. Why? Because my children have told me, oh, so and so behaves like a girl, but he's really very nice, he's really very polite, he's such a nice person. And I said, that's what you need to focus on. That's a nice human being.
Exactly.
That's somebody you should be friends with.
Yes,
so they're not taught to hate. But I have a problem from age 5, the school, because whether we like it or not, in any given day, while I'm at work, my children are at school, and they spend so many hours at school, and they are being taught that this is right. If one thing is right, two things can be right at the same time. If one thing is right, the other has to be wrong. So one day, our children being the clever, intelligent, we didn't know how to question our parents. So when your parents are talking to you, you put your foot. But my children are very bold, and they will ask you, but mom, if you said A, and my teacher said B, one of them has got to be wrong. Which one is wrong?
Then you can tell them that nothing is wrong. It's your own choice that you need to make.
They won't even buy it. They're too brilliant. No, but it's an interesting discussion. I like the way, I like your submission. I love the way you discussed it from the point of view of, it's as they are. We are just responsible for them. They don't belong to us. Their soul certainly doesn't belong to us. And we're just meant to guide them on their journey. Even as we have been guided by our own parents on their journey. So yeah, thank you for that. So your co-speakers are here.
Yeah.
Wow. Did they forget, or have they gone? Have they left? Because I know a lot of people have been leaving space yesterday.
Yeah, I think the participation has been less yesterday.
Yes. Participation has been less.
Please come for a